Crossing mountains and seas, more and more foreign business people are making their way to China.
Oh my God.
In pursuit of their entrepreneurial dreams. Across the globe, China is seen as a land of opportunity.
This is fun!
But what's the secret to this appeal? What does China have to offer an investor? How does China transform dreamers into achievers? We couldn't wait to find out.
So I come here in 10 years and look out here, it's going to look entirely different, right? Yep.
From above, the mist shrouds this magical place. It's so unique. It's the most international city in all of China. But down here on the ground, as I look at the skyline, I know it etches out a story about economic achievements witnessed in China over the past 40-plus years. The towering skyscrapers also provide a narrative of abundant business opportunities, modernization, and a development model that has come to be known as China's reform and opening up. To understand China, you have to come here to Shanghai. It's one of the largest cities in the world. It's also referred to as the Paris of the East. It's where the old meets the new, where the East meets the West. It's a perfect example of what happened after the reforms and opening up of the 1970s. And if you come here, you have to start by going into the legendary landmark, the Peace Hotel. Walk inside with me and you just feel like you're walking back in time. The Peace Hotel is one of the most prestigious hotels in Shanghai. It's historic, majestic, and a landmark on the Bund. The corridors and walls also tell a story of Shanghai in the 20th and 21st century.
和平饭店它是国家级的文物保护单位，见证了近百年的历史的变迁。国外的一些宾客来到上海，它是一个窗口，是了解中国的一个开始。
It's a hotel and city that has played a pivotal role in history. It was here in 1964 where officials from China and France met to discuss the establishment of diplomatic relations. In April of 1971, the U.S. table tennis team stayed here during their celebrated visit to China. 7 years later, China launched the reform and opening up. The new measures ushered in a golden age of opportunity. It's documented in the famous TV series Blossom Shanghai.
爆出来了！像股票这些东西，需要为师。
The iconic movie director Wong Kar-wai bathed his characters in golden light.
左手做外贸，右手炒股票，这样都洋得堂堂不落哎！
新浪军功，九等什么？
Featuring prominently in the story is the Peace Hotel.
我请侬到5平方地去过日子。
Standing against the still under construction Oriental Pearl Tower across the Wangpu River, standing as a symbol separating two distinct and important eras.
普通的东方明珠也造好了，到辰光阿拉一道看亮灯庆祝。
哪里看啊
5平方这个天台。
And now I'm heading to the balcony, which is prominently featured in Blossom Shanghai. And for my money, there's no better view of the city. Ever since China and the U.S. established diplomatic relations in 1979, virtually every U.S. president has visited Shanghai, as have thousands of ordinary Americans, like Stephen Weathers. But in the case of Stephen, he stayed.
小伙伴们，小伙伴们，小伙伴们，我是你的老鸡 Steven。这次我带你们去重庆、魔都之行、天道湖、法轮米。Oh wow, amazing！ 和海贼。
Stephen is a popular online influencer these days who has experienced a lot of life in China. His first encounter with China came in 1999. He was a kid with a backpack, a student on a group trip to China. But he was impressed, so much so that he moved to Shanghai 19 years ago to begin his adventure. Stephen, how are you? Good to see you.
Welcome to Shanghai.
Oh, thanks. This is
so glad you
amazing,
came.
isn't
Look at this.
Stephen, I can see why you stayed just looking at the skyline, but the rapid development in Shanghai, talk to me about what you've witnessed.
Isn't it incredible? I mean, when I first came to Shanghai, it was half of this. And so to be able to witness that, I mean, if we saw this abroad, it would take, 100 years? And I've been here almost 20 years. I've seen Shanghai and I've seen the future. And so living in the city is like living in sci-fi future.
When it comes to the future, few other cities offer more opportunities than Shanghai. Not only for the locals, but also for people from other countries like Stephen.
Originally, when I came to China, it was just a 5-year goal. I chose a small town called Luoyang, so I lived there my first year and really was just completely, yeah. It was a difficult year, but a wonderful year. So 5 years after that, now fast forward, I'm in Shanghai with a weekly TV show called Shanghai A to Z, and then a travel show, and then there were so many opportunities, and life was so much fun, I didn't even think about going back home.
The opportunities continue to flourish. A chance trip to Moganshan led to another business opportunity for Stephen. He teamed up with Ernest Guan, and they've been running this mountainside boutique hotel since 2017. Its clientele is mostly foreigners and Chinese from Shanghai, which is only 2 hours away by car. The hotel offers visitors a chance to experience China's rural pace of life in a bit of comfort.
So I just met with a designer, he's from Brazil. So the design, the colors are a little bit more different from what we already have, but I just want to walk you through this presentation. So this is the concept of the new building. What do you think?
It's very sexy color. Looks very nice.
Yep. I've got to ask you, what do you think about the boundary lines? Like where can we build?
Around this line is okay. We already talked to the government. The government said okay. They will push for it for us, and but not bigger. This is the size.
Stephen's no anomaly. China draws in people from around the globe, and the attraction is growing as restrictions on the investment and operation of foreign trade enterprises are reduced and the threshold for market access is lowered.
Business opportunities in China have changed over the years, and I would say 10 or 20 years ago there were a lot of large companies coming over, setting up factories. Right now there are a lot of smaller opportunities, at least the ones that I'm touching, which one would be inbound tourism. The made in China is going to change.
Growing global optimism about China's business environment is reflected in a significant rise in investment. From January to June of 2024, 26,870 new foreign invested enterprises were established nationwide. That's an increase of 14.2% year on year. Stephen and his partner are investing in phase 2 of their expansion. They've always dreamed of adding a swimming pool and spraying. Now they need official approval from several government departments before they can go ahead.
Good to see you guys as well.
你好，你好。
今天我们要跟你确定一下这个红线。
好的，好的。关于就是整个营销方面，我们也就是我们度假区也可以帮我们使劲，所以你的这些提升内容其实也是跟我这个想法是契合的。
太好了。
As you're no doubt already aware, Stephen is constantly on the go. He's been taking the world along on his journeys. It all started with a trip to Shanghai in Jiangxi province. Stephen decided to upload videos of his travels on overseas social media platforms. He was shocked at the response. A flood of messages came in from around the globe. Stephen knew that he had the potential to harness the power of social media, and he has.
听得到吗? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Now, as an influencer,
Let's go.
he has around 2 million followers.
小伙伴们，又是我，你的老伙计 Steven.
A lot of foreigners have watched my shows too online, and they'll send me questions, they'll send me feedback. They think they understand China, but they really just only see a small part, whether it's Chinese restaurants abroad or Chinatowns or China depicted in films and in media. That to me is just a small piece. 大家好，我是 Steven， 来自美国。我采访过120多个 CEO.
Seeing is believing, and being here has helped Stephen to understand the real China.
I think one of the best ways for America and other countries to understand China is to come here. Come and visit, come and travel, experience it for yourself. When I go home to the States, I talk to a lot of people. They really don't have a full picture of China because they've never had an opportunity to come. And I think now that the doors are wide open for tourism, now is a great time to come and experience.
The greater openness is reflected in a significant increase in inbound travelers. The first half of 2024 saw over 14.6 million visitors coming to China, a year-on-year increase of over 150%. But not everyone has the chance to come, so prejudices remain. What they're missing is a glimpse of what Stephen has seen with his own eyes. Great changes and enormous development in the People's Republic of China since its founding 75 years ago. When I think of China, I think of just how progressive it is. One of the things that struck me is, you know, in the United States, you might not hear people talking about 5G or AI until recently, but I remember coming here like years ago and people were talking about that. It's very progressive, forward-thinking.
I do think so. However, a lot of the things that you see in Shanghai started in smaller towns and cities, whether it's the technology or even brands. I do think Shanghai's kind of a gateway to the world, but a lot of the success you see here started in other cities and other provinces.
For me, Shanghai is sort of like a jigsaw puzzle. The pieces seen separately don't make sense, but add them together and the result is amazing. The architecture is a real hodgepodge of both Western and Eastern cultures. Even in recent times, various buildings have sprung up, reflecting various stages of opening up and development.
一边是特别现代的，在90年代之后建成的现代的区域，另一边就是在1个多世纪前陆续建成的一些历史建筑。这样的一个对话呢，其实也让我们有一个特别好的一种感受。
To really feel the pulse of China, you need to stroll through its city streets. What you'll find is a mixture, a place to invest and work, but it's also somewhere to enjoy some leisure time and recreation. I met a group of teachers and students from Tongji University who've been documenting the course of Shanghai's development. Their city walks offer the perfect insight into life here.
Hey, good
Very
to see
nice
you.
to meet you.
Great to meet
Hi.
you.
Hi.
Thanks so much for taking us today. You can see coffee culture here in Shanghai. What is the number of coffee shops in Shanghai?
6,000.
6,000. 6000多家. Wow, 厉害.
And the number is still increasing.
But what about a young guy like you, the changes you've seen in your lifetime?
Yes, I really love this. I mean, waterfront, the seats.
Doesn't it remind you of London or Paris,
yeah, exactly.
sitting along the Thames or the Seine and New York? 恭喜恭喜你们! Congratulations!
Lots of weddings.
Congratulations! Wedding party here. I mean, what a perfect day for a wedding. Yeah.
Excellent day for those photos.
Yes.
along the
Yep.
waterfront. There's no better way to end a walk like this one than with a ride up to the top of the skyscrapers for one last glimpse of this majestic city.
Ah, beautiful, beautiful.
incredible. And you really get the breadth of this amazing city.
And that point in the future will be another CBD area. So there will be another tall building, 480 meters, in that way.
So I think in the next 20, 40 years, we're going to see a lot more of that growth.
Meanwhile, we also transform a lot of buildings' functions, maybe from the private to the public. And especially for the large public services, for the new museums, new libraries, new performance center, new big theaters. So it's a very good way that after the reform and opening up, what the government really want to do. And all these places is finally go back to serve for the people who live here.
So I come here in 10 years and look out here, it's going to look entirely different, right?
Yeah.
Mention Shanghai and you think of this majestic city, but it's much more than that. It's a community of more than 200 million people spread across several nearby provinces. Add it all up, and it accounts for nearly a quarter of China's entire GDP. Of all the regions in China, the Yangtze River Delta has the most extensive supply chain, the largest population, and the biggest foreign community. But I've been told there's a special place just an hour's drive from the city of Shanghai. So I'm off to explore. And when I say special, I mean special. There are 500 plus German enterprises here in this city, and so many German citizens, after a while you feel like you're actually in Germany. And that's especially true here. This is a replica of the Bavarian city of Rothenburg. Taitong has a bakery where various kinds of traditional German bread are freshly baked. Erwin Gerber first came to live and work in Taitong in 2012. 3 years later, he opened a traditional German bakery here called Rocktiki. Over the past 9 years, Erwin's German bread dream has grown, and today he runs a workshop and 2 small outlets.
做的特别德国化，跟德国的口味几乎是一模一样的。
我比较喜欢这家面包，主要是它比较健康。
我已经习惯他们家面包的口感了。
The success of Erwin's Bakery isn't limited to Taitong. It's now famous across the country. Back in Germany, people don't normally buy their bread online, but in China, thanks to the internet, that's exactly what's happening. He now has customers in Hainan, Xinjiang, Liaoning, and many other places.
Sales on the internet platform, of course, it's growing actually every year quite well. And because now you can actually supply around across China everywhere. Because also the good point is in China, the transportation ways, how to transportate actually the goods from A to B goes very fast, unbelievably fast.
I think Taitong, the government, did a tremendous job in attracting so many businesses, especially from Germany. I think one of the obvious reasons is that the proximity to Shanghai, but I think another important aspect is also that they put a lot of emphasis on cultural aspects. This is also one of the important aspects of attracting business. It's not just about the business, you also have to combine that with, you have to give them sort of a DNA, and you have to create this whole ecosystem which makes foreigners, investors feel comfortable to come here and to stay here and to bring business, invest a lot of money.
Taitong is a city with a population of around 1 million, and there are plenty of German people here. And that's because there are a lot of German companies here as well, mainly small and medium-sized family businesses.
Obviously, I think bilateral relations between countries, a lot of that benefits from bilateral ties of the economies. Basically, the German economy the Chinese economy. China is basically the biggest trading partner of Germany now for a couple of years already.
Philipp Wilhelm comes from a small German town. He's also had a strong interest in Chinese culture and history. So he came to study at Peking University for 1 year in 2005. Ever since, he's been working in Shanghai and Taitung. And over time, he obtained a Chinese green card.
Dann kannst du es auch ausmachen.
Okay, dann warten wir noch ein bisschen. 喂，我的手套去哪儿？
What China did over the last years is especially we made leaps and bounds with getting visa-free entry into the country, which is obviously for business people, for the people from our headquarters, for our foreign expert. An important aspect of because it was not so easy to come to China. It took a lot of efforts to get visas and so on.
So what was the magnet that drew you here? And then it's one thing to be drawn, but you're cemented here now in a sense because it's been over a decade, right? I mean,
absolutely, yeah. Absolutely.
So this is home.
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely, it has become our home, our second home. I think coming to China in the first place was
very exciting.
Was a step into uncharted territory for us. I think China has done a tremendous journey over the past 30 years. So alone within the last 10 years that we have been here, the change has been so fundamental in terms of what you see outside, new buildings, new skyscrapers, new high-rises here, new high-rises there, new technology. We have ride-sharing apps which are simply exceeding expectations. Me coming from a European background.
Wow. It's so funny when I talk to people about going to China. It's like I say, I don't see credit cards and I don't see cash. It's just the phone.
And the trains are always too late in Germany. So that's a nightmare.
Not such an issue here, right?
Not at all. Not at all.
That is China nowadays. So high speed, fast pace, and simply, I think for everyone, an absolute new adventure.
The German companies mean opportunities, but more importantly, perhaps, they've introduced a different way of doing things. This is a classic example of win-win cooperation. There's now a dual system of vocational education, as schools and enterprises work in tandem to train local students the needed technical skills through apprenticeships. Before she went to college, Ju Jing had never heard of vocational and technical education. When she told her family she planned to study under a dual Chinese-German education system, they objected. However, she persevered.
德国的质量是非常的高标准的，这就是他们严谨的体现。我希望在我日后的学习生活中，对待我每一次作业，我都能严谨的态度去完成我这些事情。
Hangzhou is located in the Yangtze River Delta region. It's long celebrated as a paradise on earth for tourists. In recent times, the city has also become a hotspot for high-tech innovation and entrepreneurship. Situated in Hangzhou's Yuhong district, Dreamtown is a hub for tech startups. This is one of many such towns in Zhejiang province. They're designed to attract entrepreneurs. With this vibrant community, Nick Mitchell, a renowned Canadian maker, operates a video technology company specializing in VR development.
Welcome to China. Welcome to Dreamtown.
He was only 18 when he arrived in China back in 2006. He was driven by a profound interest in Eastern art. Here he is presenting a VR adaptation of the classic Peking opera tale Lady Mu Gui Ying Takes Command, produced by his company.
The thing about Peking Opera, or any theater in general, is it's only available to some people. You have to be in the right city and you have to have money, often a lot of money for a ticket. VR changes that. So through a VR experience, like through the Peking Opera experience we made, anybody, anywhere in the world can put on a VR headset and have an experience better than the front row seat. And to me, that sharing of experiences is really exciting.
For the past 9 years, Dreamtown has been a hotbed of entrepreneurial activity. In this thriving community, audacious dreams take flight. And aspiring entrepreneurs break through conventional boundaries to realize their visions. Dreamtown beckons the fearless, and Nick Mitchell exemplifies this ethos. Leveraging technological innovation, he transcends cultural barriers and champions traditional Chinese culture from his own distinctive perspective. Dreamtown teams with kindred spirits who share his passion.
In the past 15 years in China, I've seen advancements. And in technology, what's fascinating is the adoption of these advancements. Chinese people are hungry for new and better ways of doing things, which makes it a perfect place to do a tech startup. And is also really why I believe that here is where I'm going to take what was a dream and I'm going to make it reality.
While Shanghai and its surrounding cities in the east represent a major draw to foreigners, the west of the country also has its appeal. My colleague, Gasthoori Manickam, discovers what the great city of Chongqing in western China has to offer.
Up the Yangtze River lies a unique Chinese city. Skyscrapers, bright lights, complex highways, hot pots everywhere.
Welcome to Chongqing. Thank you. Cheers, cheers, cheers.
Chongqing, or the Mountain City, is a city like no other. It's a modern city steeped in history. I could not help myself but be drawn to its magical three-dimensional landscape. It's like traveling through time and space.
My first time in Chongqing. I'm told this is a city, 8D magic mountain cities. What better way to explore the city than speak to the locals and find out all the hot spots? Very nice. Whoa, this is nice. Follow me. Oh my God. I heard this metro station is very unique. Let's find out why. I still can't see the train or the platform. I've lost all sense of logic. Am I on the first floor or 8th floor? I don't know. Bye.
Attracted by the business opportunities on offer, there's a sizable foreign community in Chongqing. I know of such a guy. Adam came and left, but came again to finally make this city his home. I'm going to meet him tonight. He has promised to take me to a popular iconic spot. Hongya Cave. It seems I'll be slipping into yet another fantasy world.
So Adam, that view is amazing. This is the one you were talking about, right?
That's Chongqing, right? Like that's, I don't know, one of the most beautiful cities in the world.
Yeah. Why Chongqing? You've been here for a while now.
So yeah, I moved in 2007.
Yeah.
For me, the more research I did in Chongqing, it was the fastest growing city in the world. It was a city that most of the people haven't heard of. When I told my mom and dad I was moving to Chongqing, they thought it was made up, right? What are you talking about? But I saw opportunity in the city. So I moved here.
You are a relocation expert. How did you enter the Chinese market?
We do like the executives, right? So the CEOs, the managing partners, the directors, you know, the top engineers for all sorts of different companies. And so that is home search, school search, settling in, some cultural training. You know, we kind of take care of the expats from the day they arrive to the day they leave. So we take care of the home life. So when the working spouse, whether it's the husband or the wife, but when the working spouse can concentrate on work, they're not dealing with home challenges. And so, yeah, I just saw opportunity again, right? Okay, Heather, I think what I have is the perfect apartment.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so 3 bedrooms, multiple bathrooms, a great apartment for families. So we'll just do a little lap around this way.
Okay.
So a great big open kitchen, dining room, living room.
We're looking for, I've seen some that I can only call a 2.5 bedroom.
Those would be 3 bedrooms. When we do business consulting, you know, we tell companies like, don't just look at China as Shanghai. Because a lot of companies come in, they're like, oh, I have to go to Shanghai. They don't understand China, right? And so when we do consulting on business registration and setting up companies, we do explain to them there are advantages to having your back office in Western China and your head office in Shanghai.
Across China, local governments are competing to attract foreign investment. But Adam admits it's no longer just a game of building fancy office towers, hotels, development zones, and favorable policies.
We've been talking about, and we as the business community have been talking about Chongqing's potential for a long time. And you know, one of the things that we did is every year we do a white paper called the China International City Index. There is a lot of opportunity, so I think there is a lot of potential.
The soft environment also matters, like providing education, entertainment, and even sports. When I asked Adam what's the thing he most loves about being here, he answered without hesitation: climbing the mountains. And I can certainly understand why. Adam manages the Chongqing jogging team and has an outdoor fitness club called The Hub. He gets all his friends to join in the fun.
For me, when I go abroad and I'm discussing China and I'm introducing about the opportunities in China and I'm speaking at different conferences, I get people that question me a little bit on what it's like. And so when they read the news, they're like, oh, this or that. I'm like, actually, no, things are not, don't believe everything that you read in the news. So I do believe in China and I do believe in the opportunities in China, and I wouldn't be here if I didn't believe in China. Welcome to Chongqing.
Thank you.
Chongqing is growing up. It's more international. Whether it's banks or food or restaurants, or it's a lot easier being an expat here than it was 2007.
Like, you've traveled to many cities. What kind of development? How has it progressed?
So what I've managed to observe is that it's not the change that I've seen in the last 6 years, but the change that has been built for decades. I can see that people are here happy and content in most cases because their present looks better than their past.
Indeed, China has witnessed tremendous changes over the past 75 years. Its people, its economy, its geopolitical status. Every Chinese city has reached new heights. Chongqing is no exception, and there's a part of this city that reminds me of home. Raffles City, a project by Singapore's real estate developer CapitaLand. This is the company's biggest investment in China.
I'm taking a leap of faith. I'm on top of Chongqing on the world's largest horizontal tower. Are you ready? This is fun! The highlight is this skywalk. If you dare, get a 360 degrees view of Chongqing. Breathtaking.
I'm meeting a fellow Singaporean, Ben Lee, CEO of CapitaLand Development China. It's not only small startups like Adams that are moving to inland China, but also the giant multinationals.
Since the 78 opening, the coastal cities are the one that it's open first. And now as the development moves more westward, we come to Chongqing. So this is another wave where another China city is presented to the world.
So it was very interesting how you said about the coastal cities, people are more familiar with that. So how do you think Chongqing can make its presence on the international stage?
I think with such good traits and the support from the Chinese government, it will definitely be the next city to make its mark in the world. And based on the historical links of Chongqing, it's a strong manufacturing base. Every 3 laptops, you say one is from Chongqing. Every 10 handphone, one is from Chongqing. So it shows the depth of the manufacturing capability.
Raffles City Chongqing has a total investment of over $3 billion. It's Singapore's largest single development in China. The design is nothing if not impressive. History meets modernity right here.
Gorgeous view of Chongqing. I mean, this is just breathtaking. You won't be able to see this 20 years ago, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, how do you feel like when you look at all these changes?
I think I'm very amazed and with the transformation. And I'm also very happy because it can signify the progress of the country. But as you can see, it's a good mix. You have the old and the new, and they blend together. And I like this part about Chongqing. It's mountainous. In fact, as you walk, which is very tiring, but you thought you were at the top, and suddenly you realize you're at the bottom of another building.
Yeah.
And you do not know where you turn to. All the little corners that you go into, it brings a lot of surprises. So I think that even makes it proud as a Singaporean, that the city allows you to build here.
It was a proud moment for me too. With China committed to opening its door wider to the world, more and more cities are jumping on the bandwagon. From east to west, foreign investors have more destinations where they can expand their business in the world's second largest economy. From digital economy to boundless business opportunities, China is also creating opportunities for the world with a vision of a shared future. Over 40 million people have been lifted out of poverty under the Belt and Road Initiative, and hundreds of thousands of jobs have been created.
From the cities to the heartlands, we visited places where the great transformations are taking place.
I'm back.
Deep underground, where we're going to see this technological wonder.
This is way too high.
Learning firsthand from the people shaping them and the communities being shaped by them.
I've seen Shanghai and I've seen the future.
Now our journey of rediscovery is coming to an end. So I come here in 10 years and look out here, it's going to look entirely different, right? For 75 years, China has faced constant challenges.
风沙天呀，非常恶劣的环境。
确实是面临着很多的挑战和困难。
救不回来，我们就会觉得挺无力的，也挺可惜的。
Yet it never fails to find a solution. By breaking down barriers, reaching out its hand and working hard.
中间有一次成功，它对我们来说就是一个巨大的突破。
但是我们相信，我们会看到这一天。
This once sleeping giant is working miracles.
Gyrations that go through the core of your body.
It's amazing. As the Chinese nation has changed, so too has the mindset of its people. Ancient wisdom is inspiring today's young people to move forward. Through weddings and architecture.
Architecture is art. It has incredible influence to the people's life.
Movies and archaeology.
中国这个博物馆热势是个趋势。
They are shaping the future with a growing confidence. Innovation has become the nation's heartbeat. This nation's drive and imagination has never been so important in the world. With cutting-edge innovation, mega projects, green development, and poverty alleviation, China is forging its own path of modernization. At the same time as empowering nations aspiring to similar success. Amid escalating global uncertainty, if the world is to achieve common prosperity, China is the biggest certainty. China is continuing to make progress on its race to the future.
So tell us about Suzhou Creek. Yeah, the Suzhou Creek. Actually, when I was a child, I still remember every time when we cross this river, it smells rather terrible, and the color is black, totally black. Nowadays, you can also find some fish within the river.
It's good, but I got the non-spicy version.